How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have House Parties with us, and they can say their name and what they do in the band.
Hi, I'm Chaney and I sing. Woo!
Woo! Shout outs. Thank you so much, Chaney. I also want to give a shout outs to Erica at Big Picture. I love Big Picture. I've been working with them for probably as long as I've been doing YouTube for, which is almost
Oh,
eight
that's cool.
years. It's kind of crazy.
That's really cool.
I
That's
love them.
awesome.
So big salutes.
Yeah.
Erica's, I think this is the first time I've worked with Erica, though. So big salutes to her. But also salutes to Chaney for coming on. I realized that I had DM'd them like, I don't know, maybe I want to say it was like at least 7 months ago at this point. And now I know why, because they got signed to Equal Vision. They got a bunch of cool stuff going on. Oh, it was back in February of last year. So
Oh, wow.
it might have been around the same time. So big salutes. I'm not trying to throw Chaney or House Parties under the bus. I feel like they had a lot going on. So I'm
We
just gonna
did. We had
chalk it.
so many.
I'm gonna chalk it up to that. But I wanted to know, Chaney, since I'm not too familiar with your band other than Spotify giving me a dub. You guys showed up on like a Spotify radio. Like I was listening to like a bunch of pop punk artists. I think actually, funnily enough, I was listening to Costin, and your band name came up, and I was like, who is this? This is a sick group. So then I went and checked, and I was like, follow immediately on Spotify, and then hit you up on Instagram, and now we're here. And it
Oh,
only
yeah.
took till November, and now we're getting it done. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's crazy how
Well,
Spotify
thank you.
works. But
Right.
I wanted to know how you guys started out. I'm a huge band nerd, so I wanted to kind of know the whole origin story of House Parties and how you guys got all started out.
Yeah. Spencer and I were in another band like years ago.
Hmm.
That's how we met each other. And the band didn't work out, things happen.
Sure.
And so, but we liked making music together. And so, we started this other like little side project that didn't really go anywhere because we just kind of wanted to just write music and put music out. And then, 2020, I was like, let's do the band thing. Let's
Oh,
do it.
okay.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Because we both knew we wanted to do a band, but it was like about the timing of it and like
Sure.
the
Yeah.
commitment level. And so we started House Parties, just the two of us. And then, sorry if you hear my cat whining outside the door. I might have to let her in though in a second.
We are two cat fiends, so I got you. Yeah.
And so we had to find members. And so we had like some temporary members that didn't end up staying. And I wanted to make the commitment of finding like committed members.
Sure. Of course.
So I went on social media, scoured the internet, and I was like, hey guys, we're looking for a drummer and a bassist. And someone that I had become recently like mutuals with was Wesley, our drummer. And he was like, I'm ready to try the whole band thing out again. So he auditioned and we were like, he's perfect. So he's in the band. And then Haley was in a band that I had seen,
Hmm.
like I've known in the scene for a while, called New 95. And she was like, can I be the bassist? And I was like, girl, you don't even have to audition. I already seen you play. Like you're in. You're
I
in.
got it. Yeah.
Right. And so that was our members. And then up until recently, Haley had a baby. So she's not like
Oh,
in the band, but if she ever like wants to play live,
she can.
she can.
Yeah.
So she's still like in the band in our hearts, but she's not like, but we love her so much. She's amazing. And yeah, that's our little origin story.
Yeah, no, I love that. I also feel the sentiment of finding committed members, I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
doing YouTube, and for as long as I've been doing it for, it's often hard to find people that are like really invested in what you do and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I think
100%.
I think it's important for that. And with being in a prior project, did you feel like the need to just want to go more hard in this project because you're like, listen, I'm gonna do it. Like if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right. So did you kind of come to that?
Exactly.
Did you kind of come through with that mentality of like, this is a do or die. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna see what happens. And if I have enough committed members to do this, we're gonna continue on with
Oh
as
yeah.
far as we can go.
Because like I know how I mean everyone knows how passionate they are. I know how passionate I am about what I want to do,
Mhm.
and this is what I want to do. So there's like quite literally nothing stopping me from doing it. And so it's just like, how committed can I find other people that are like in the same like mindset? You know,
Sure, sure,
it's
sure.
not that easy, but we got like super lucky with Wesley and Haley. Because Wesley's still here, and you know, here we are. Now we're signed. It's kind of, we just came back from like our first full U.S. tour, so
Yeah.
it's insane to think about where we were in like 2020, 2021, releasing our first single to like now. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and I went back and listened to pretty much everything. House Parties, I'll leave a link in the description. Go give them a follow on Spotify. Go listen to all of it, because it's all great. And but I went back and listened to like some of the first couple songs. Like Tiny Room was probably the furthest back I went, and I was like, okay, I get it. This is like 2021 House Parties. Like, give me a vibe. And I was kind of like, all right, let's see what some of the new stuff is. So I checked out Cautious, Brain Dead, and the newest song, Midlife Crisis. And
Mhm.
I was like, wow, what a change in just a couple years to
I
have
know.
like have such a variation. Especially the jump from Midlife Crisis to Tiny Room. I thought that was the most jarring of jumps because I would argue it's like your heaviest song, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
Like so I feel like that kind of juxtaposition was very fun. Are you guys for I know you have an EP that's going to be coming out in the new year. Do you have songs that are like a wide variety of what you've been releasing as singles, or have you kind of like what was the thought process with the EP in terms of like the types of songs that you guys are going to be putting out? Because I'd imagine the singles that are out are obviously going to be on the EP as well.
Yeah. Um the the EP is so like, there's gonna be 4 songs.
Okay.
You've heard 2 of them. You haven't heard the other 2.
Ooh.
They're
Okay.
so vastly different from each other. Like, Brain Dead and Midlife are already so vastly different from each other.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And the other 2 songs are so different, but in an odd way, they're so different from each other, but, like, when you listen to it, like, the whole thing, they oddly, like, go together.
Ooh. Okay. I love that.
So, it's just it's a trip, and, uh, there's one song on there that's, like, a super, like, sad ballad
Ooh.
that we did super last second in the studio, and it
Okay.
is probably my favorite song off of the EP because it's insane. It's crazy. You get your super high, high, high notes in there.
Oh, I love
Um,
those.
you got a little bit of a country root going on, like country roots.
Mm.
You'll see what I'm talking about once you hear it, but it's my probably my favorite. The process for it, we kind of just went in the studio with Derek planning to write 4 songs. We had some demos, and we
Hmm.
basically just let him be like, "Here are demos. What are your ideas? Like, what do you want to do?" Because we trust him like 100% with like songwriting because he's so good.
Yeah.
And we started off with Brain Dead, restructured it, turned out how it did. Okay, cool song, right? Then we did this second one,
Okay.
which is not cool. And it's that one kind of gives me a little bit more like pop rock vibes,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's not. But if you, yeah. And then you obviously have Midlife Crisis. We wanted to make an angry like song, and they were like, "Don't put any breakdowns, like no breakdown. Don't make them like too heavy." And we were just kind of like, "Fuck it, whatever."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that one's a really good one. And then you have the last one, which was so interesting because we had a completely different idea. And then the day that we were writing it, um, Derek came in and was like, "I just came up with like an idea for this song in the shower. What do you guys think
Best
about doing
time.
it
Yeah.
now?" And then he showed us like his idea, like the melody, and we were like, "We're sold. We're sold. Let's do it." So it's just kind of like we just went with the flow of like what we were vibing with, like the demos and the songs, and they just turned out how they did. So good.
Yeah. I like I said, Midlife Crisis was probably the most shocking of the ones that I've listened to, because I was like, okay, listen to like went through like the list of Spotify of like most popular songs downward, and Cautious being I think the highest one right now, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I like this. This is like the pop punk, the roots, it gives me that sort of baseline, and then Brain Dead kind of takes you a little bit left of center, and you're like, okay, I still get it. It makes sense. Like, I'm rocking with it. And then
Mhm.
Midlife Crisis is all the way out here on the left hand side, and you're like, this is like
Whoa.
emo. There's like a little bit of breakdown riffing. Like, I was surprised. I was sitting at my computer desk, like listening to this, and I was like, did they throw a break? I was like, let me rewind. I have to check back, check the tapes, and I was like, they threw a breakdown, and that's insane. So I like the variation of what I've got so far. So I think that this EP, which is going to be coming out in January, I'm excited to delve into it. I'll be doing a live, I'm sure, of checking out the entire thing live. So I'll save the other two. I don't think there's going to be any new songs that are coming out before this year's over with, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna check the EP out live. So check the
Hell
link. This will be out before the EP comes out. So come hang out with
yeah.
me.
Mhm.
Love to see you. But as well as you mentioned earlier, Chaney, you signed to Equal Vision. How did that come to be? I'm always curious on how bands get signed to labels. I love Equal Vision. I've also been working with them for quite a many years now, and I love the roster. So did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Kind of how did that formulate?
So back in like I think it was August of last year,
Hmm.
we originally like got hit up from Equal and we're like, cool. They never followed up, which I get it. I get it. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
and they're super busy. I get it. Like I wasn't like offended or anything. I was just like, okay, whatever
Is what
happens,
it
happens.
is. Yeah.
It is what it is. And then, we got in contact with Derek, wrote Cautious, came back to the studio again in March, wrote 4 songs. Derek kind of got us in touch with our agent, and then our
Hmm.
agent is the one that kind of just got us in touch with everybody on our team. And then like we told him, we were like, yeah, Equal Vision like hit us up like last year, but never followed up. Which again, it is what it is. And then he was like, oh, well, let me like get in contact with
Yeah.
them again. And so then that happened. And then here,
Oh, there we go.
so, yeah,
Shout outs to Derek. That's incredible. Well,
shout out,
I
big shout out to that
b-
guy.
big shout out to that guy. I love him. But I thought it was very cool. I was actually a little surprised, because I feel like typically like they don't really have their hand in the like pop punk like
Yeah,
puddle. So I was very surprised that they like signed an artist like that, which is not a bad thing. I think it's great. I
right.
love that artist labels are diversifying in that way. So big kudos to you guys, and you guys can pick up the new EP with the link in the description if you want to go show it some love. I'm sure they have merch and all that stuff. So really
Hmm.
sick. Um, but Janie, I wanted to ask. You also went on tour with Belmont and Can't Swim recently. I was a little sad because I thought I was gonna get this email a little sooner, because then I could have came out to see you guys in Philadelphia, which is
It's
I'm
all
a little
right.
sad. And then I think it was actually the day, like, I emailed Erica was the day that you guys were in Philly, so there's no way it would
Oh
have
my
happened.
god.
But it was just coincidence, because I went back and checked like the email. I was like, wait a second, I actually emailed her on the day that we could have done it. So
Right.
I was a little heartbroken, but next time for sure. But how was that tour? Because you did mention it was your first full US tour. How did that kind of go? And do you have any interesting tales of tour stories?
I do. So this tour was probably like it, you couldn't have asked for like a first better like US tour to
Sure,
go on.
sure, sure. Yeah.
I've been listening to these bands since like ever. And like I got to tour with them and like talk to them every day and like see them live. I was just like every day I came in, I was just like every time like we walked to a new venue, I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, this is
It's
crazy.
surreal. Yeah.
It's so surreal. Oh my God. The post-tour depression that I am going through right now is
Oh,
so real. I was so used to just like I was so accustomed every night to like watching these two bands play and then playing a
yeah.
set before them and like sleeping in like a hotel or like whatever. And now I'm just like I'm home. I'm just like, God, I miss it. Um crazy, crazy tour stories. Okay. So in Sacramento, a couple dates before that, I've been like, I was super. This touring is exhausting if you're not
Yes.
used to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But I was so tired. I hadn't really eaten a lot. I don't know. My body's just weird. Goes through like weird little phases. So I didn't really eat that much. And then I was drinking a lot of Red Bulls, which I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to drink a lot of Red Bulls. I have like something with my heart, but
Oh, no.
anyway.
Oh, what?
And so I was drinking like I probably drink like I'm a very lightweight of a person, so I drink like 4 Red Bulls in like 2 days,
What?
which doesn't seem like that much, but like it's a lot for me.
I was gonna say that's a
And
lot, I would say. I would argue.
we, you know, I was going through like a little bit of a cold, like a little under the weather. I wouldn't say I was sick or anything around that time. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the show went fine. I wasn't feeling that well, set the merch table, played a set, did Country Girl with Belmont. That
Oh,
was probably the highlight. And I'm later on in the night when I'm packing up merch, like, you have to count everything.
yeah.
I'm counting everything, putting everything away. And so I was doing that, and all of a sudden I felt like this intense, like sharp pain shoot up like half of my like side of my left side into my chest, and it wouldn't go away. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening right now?
Oh,
So
no.
thank so thankfully Spencer was right there because he was like, what's happening? And I was like gripping onto him for like dear life. Like I was like gripping onto him and I was like, oh,
No.
ah! Like I was freaking out. I thought I was having a heart attack or pretty like damn close to it. And, he's there helping me. And like I guess the promoter or someone who works at the venue is like trying to help me too. And it went away. I didn't die. So, I mean,
You're here,
obviously,
yeah.
but and but I remember having the most like severe panic attack afterwards. So I thought I
Oh,
was really going to die. And so I've never fainted before in my entire life. But I felt so much like tingling in my head here that like I thought I was going to faint because my body was in such panic mode. And I'm sitting there trying to recover. Everyone, all the guys around, like in the bands, are thinking. I found this out later that like a family member had passed in my family, but they didn't know that it was like a medical emergency. And they were giving me space, which is totally cool. Anyways, and so the lady next to me, I was like, I told her she should have crushed it up because I think when you have like heart things, you also like crush up like ibuprofen or whatever. That way, I don't know, something. And so I asked her for like ibuprofen. I drank one because I was so like my body was shaking uncontrollably, and I'm crying
sure.
hysterically because I was like, what the hell just happened? I was like, I
Sure.
can't die on tour. At least not the first one.
Not the first.
And she was like, do you need me to call like an ambulance, like 911? And I literally told her, I was like, no, that's a little too dramatic. For like almost having a bless her heart. She was on it. But yeah, no, I almost died in Sacramento.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad you're okay now.
Yeah, I'm not ever drinking Red Bull again. And if
That's
Red Bull, if you're listening, I don't like you. Your drinks taste amazing, but like,
nah.
you almost have like a lawsuit on your hands.
You could, yeah. This is. I don't want to be thrown into like a lawsuit or anything, or then I'd have to like fly out to the court case because this is this is now legally binding evidence for that. So they're like, I heard you interviewed Chaney on today on 11/25 at 1:30 in the afternoon.
It was
I
just
don't.
like, God, that was crazy. Cause like, just the whole like, just I was just like, I'm on tour, I'm playing shows, not eating very much. That's my own fault. That's my own fault. And then just almost having like a heart attack. But it was funny because like the next day on my Instagram, like once in a while, I'll do like, I'm bored in the car, you guys. Ask me like
AMA,
anything.
yeah.
Question. Somebody was like, what is the one song in your life right now that like describes like that describes your life? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just put Heart Attack by Demi Lovato, but I was like, if you know, you know.
Oh, no. So now if you want to get more context on why she put
There
Demi
it is.
Lovato heart
There
attack,
it
now you
is.
know. Oh my god. Well, I'm glad you're okay,
So
Cheney, first and foremost. Oh my god, I can't even think about that. But I feel like I have to share my embarrassing story. I am not a touring artist, but I did faint once. So I feel like I have to in lieu of, Cheney
of
sharing her
course.
embarrassing story, I also have to share an embarrassing tidbit about my life. So, um shout outs to my sister and my dad. We went to go get like our blood drawn for like, I don't know, health reasons.
Right.
And so we went to a hospital, and I remember I think they were drinking like water or whatever, or like they had like a snack or whatever. And I didn't have anything because I just thought that you weren't supposed to have anything. So I sit in the chair, and the lady's like, how you feeling? She like put the IV in my arm and stuff. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling okay. And then moments later, I just remembered not remembering anything, and I just remember falling over, and I can hear just like intense ringing coming out of my ears, and I can hear the lady that took my blood saying like, "All right, whose kid is this? Who's?" And I'm like like I was probably like 25 or 26, something like that. So I wasn't like a kid; I was like a full
Right.
grown ass adult.
Right.
And I just remember just like being passed out, and I can hear my dad like being like, "Oh fuck, like come on, man!" Like, so like they wake me up, and they're like, "Are you okay? You know what happened?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I passed out." And then she was like, "Yeah, you did pass out." She's like, "Did you look at yourself like getting your blood drawn?" And I said, "No, I just remember seeing your face, and then black, and I was
Right.
gone."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I remember waking up, and we're having this conversation now. And she's just like, "All right, well, you just stay there. I'm gonna get you like something to just like eat or whatever." And so like I had like a granola bar or something.
Right.
But yeah, that was very embarrassing. I think that might have been the only time that I've passed out. I'm
But I
pretty
feel
sure.
like in that situation, it's not as embarrassing because like I feel like in that situation, that just kind of makes sense.
I
Like
feel
if
like it's more secondhand embarrassment, if anything.
that's okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
It's just like,
I was definitely embarrassed because like after like my like little moment after I was like trying to calm down, everyone's packing up, I'm in the car and I was like I was like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry if I freaked anyone out." And they're like, "No, it's cool. Like, what happened?" And I was like, almost had to go to the emergency room. And they're like, "Oh, oh." I was like, I told my bandmate, I was like, everyone's gonna think I'm freaking like dramatic or something right now. But it's just like, I could.
no, that's
That
okay.
was crazy.
You
That was
died on that hill. No pun intended, but I'm
yeah.
glad you're all right. You made it out. We're
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, next time in Philadelphia, you'll not pass out. We're gonna say that
Oh,
hopefully Channing is not gonna pass out throughout this rest of her touring life on God,
I'm,
So
I've never fainted. I've survived a lot of warp tours in Texas, so
oh,
I'm
whew,
yeah, we're good.
God bless. Anyway, Cheney, the next question I have for you is, what is one of the first artists that you either saw on like YouTube or TV or you heard on the radio that really inspired you to become a vocalist and start singing? Is there anybody that comes to mind that was like right off the bat, you're like, I need to do that. That seems cool.
I feel like everyone's just gonna know this answer, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sorry, not sorry. Haley Williams of Paramore. When my friend in middle school introduced me to like alternative emo music for the first time,
Hmm.
one of the first bands that she showed me was like My Chemical Romance, Evanescence, all these other bands. And then when I got around to Paramore, it was just kind of like it was during like the Riot era, and I was just
Oh,
like, I saw this like badass woman on stage and I was like, that's exactly like singing. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. So I love to sing. I love music. Like just that was it. I saw Haley and I was like, that's it.
That's
That's
it.
all right there.
I want to
Yep.
be that queen. I got you. I
Mhm.
got you.
Yep.
I
That's it.
And in terms of that, I know sometimes, like, especially with the female artists that I have here on the channel, I feel like that kind of is a trope, in the scene of music that you're just like, oh my god, this band sounds like Paramore. It's so sick. And especially, I would argue for your band, where I think the line is a little bit more blurred than maybe like if you're fronting a metal band. Like,
Right.
there's no correlation. Where do you kind of sit on that matter in terms of people saying like, oh my god, you sound like Paramore. That's crazy.
I have a big opinion on
All right,
this.
give it to me. I need to hear it, Chaney, because I feel like you're the person to tell me.
So I think like I get when some people say it, I do. But I think like to tell like every like female fronted or like non female fronted, whatever, that they sound like Paramore, it's just like one, we've heard it 1,000 times. On this tour, there was not one night where I was like,
I
because
was
I
gonna
run
say,
the merch table. I run the merch table every night on tour. Okay. After our set, I go straight to after our hardworking 30-minute set, I go right to the merch table and sell clothing, which is fine. I don't mind it. I love it. I love meeting
sure,
everybody.
yeah.
There's not one, and I know nobody at the table or anyone that tells me this is like has any ill intention. So
Mhm.
I don't take it as a like an
A
insult.
personal offense, yeah.
But like there's not one night on this tour, 23 shows over a month that I did not hear after the set. Oh my God, you
Oh
guys
no.
remind me of Paramore. Like you guys remind me of Haley. Like you remind me so much of Haley Williams. And it's like, thank you, but I've heard it. Like, and like God, whenever I get like a compliment that's like, oh, you sound like Joan Jett, or like anything that's not Haley, I'm like, thanks. Like I love that. Thank you. I get it. People think that I sound like Haley Williams or like we sound like Paramore. Like I get it. Thank you. Next. All right. I appreciate it. And it's just like God, it's just I'm about to dive deep. Okay.
Okay,
So
give
there's
it give
this
it to me.
band
I'm here, Chaney. Just give it to me. I'm here to receive.
on YouTube on like our recent videos under Equal Vision.
Mhm.
There are like comments. Hold on, let me bring one up. Let me bring quick.
I'm
Hold
sure
on.
I could also look it up as well.
Hold
Oh, you
on.
got some good ones. You got some saved ones.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know they pissed me off.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, where are they? If not, I'll have to go. Did I delete these? I think I did.
If
Okay, hold
not,
on.
I'll pull them up too as well.
Let me go here. Uh, I know a lot of them are under Brain Dead. Okay, all right. Thank you for the ad. Beautiful ad. Okay. So like you have comments like, "Oh boy, another Paramore clone," and you have 10 replies of like people defending, and then you have where is it? I think it's a bottom. Love the old school punk sound and a good band gives you Paramore vibes. Cool. All right. Where is it? This band reminds me of old Paramore and I love it. Okay, that's not bad. Um, where is it? Oh my gosh, maybe it's on the other one. Saw this on an ad while watching Paramore 2 minutes ago. Oh, here it is. Voice, hair, style of music is so Paramore. I mean, you guys are cool, but dot 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 dot.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that. I just scrolled through the last one.
And then like what is oh my God, and then the ones on midlife kind of pissed me off because I was like, really, anything to say, and you said that. And like what are the ones on here? Paramore, it's new, I love you very much, Haley. It's new in all caps, I love you very much, Haley Williams from Paramore. So Paramore vibes. Why? I just know this now. So cool. I love it. Like it's just God, there are other ones that I've read so many times that have pissed me. Just you're gonna. I'm not Haley, which brings me to a good point of what I was gonna
Yes.
say. There's this band from Atlanta called Glimmers.
Yes, Maggie, I've had her
Love
on. Shout outs.
love them and
Love
love her
Maggie.
so much.
She is
To
amazing.
me, to me, they remind me of like an old school We Are the In Crowd era.
Yes, I
Back
would agree.
That's what it gives me. And
100%.
Maggie is such a talented vocalist. Oh my God, bless her heart. Kindest person I've ever met. And they came out with a song recently. It was titled Haley, but they changed it to Jaded.
Yes.
And the whole song is about like an issue that a lot of like female fronted bands or like non-female fronted bands or anyone that like identifies
As a female, yeah.
as yeah, the same issue that we're all facing. We've all experienced this issue. And
Sure.
so she's shedding light on it, like not dissing Haley in any way. It's just like, hey, stop comparing me to this person that I love because my name is not their name. Because
Sure. Yeah.
you like compare somebody a lot to like the same thing, it really messes with their head and their mental health.
Sure. I
It's
agree.
not good. You want to be known for you. And so that song, they teased it for a while and I loved it. I do. And like, on Twitter, they were getting so much backlash and hate for it. Like, oh, like you don't want to be compared to Paramore, but then you're using Paramore for like, the visuals and all this stuff. You're dragging Haley. It's like, no, I'm
No,
not dragging
yeah.
Haley. But I will say, and this is something that I've noticed, is that when you, as a female fronted band, or when you try to promote something, like I can guarantee you that if they had promoted that song without really even referencing any Paramore in it, I don't feel like it would have done as well
Sure, yeah.
because people won't listen. I'm trying to find the right words. How do
Unless
I?
there isn't unless there isn't, like, controversy, right? I think
Right.
that's kind of what I
I mean,
realized.
yeah, but more of like I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. If they if they, if people don't use Paramore sometimes as a reference and stuff, people will not pay attention and listen. You get someone's
Fair.
attention by saying Paramore and they're instantly like, "Oh, okay, now you have my attention." And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
and that's the whole problem is that people don't pay attention unless it's like Paramore or like you have to say like, "Oh, this reminds me of Paramore." And it's just like,
Mm,
"Guys, we're not Paramore. My name is not Haley. It's Chaney or it's Maggie or it's anybody else." It's
sure, yeah.
like, can we, stop comparing us to like this one band?
Yeah,
Like it is so just it's been done with. It's
sure.
exhausting. It's exhausting. And like I saw so much hate on that with them and it's just like they don't deserve this. Like and like the people that were giving hate clearly don't understand because they have not been in our shoes to like
Sure,
experience
yeah.
it. So like they're like, well, like you're using Paramore, so like kind of contradictory. And I'm just like, the point over your head.
For sure, for sure.
Right over your head. But it's a great song. Go check it out. It's called Jaded by Glimmers. Great message in it.
I would agree,
I feel like
yeah.
it's so overlooked. And, as soon as I saw that hate, I messaged Maggie and I was like, keep your head up held high. This is a very important song. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Release it. I think you should release it because it's so good. It's very important, and God, I love that band. I do. But yeah, that's my whole
As
opinion on it. If anyone's listening, stop. Don't. If you think like, oh my God, they remind me of Paramore, I should let them know. Don't, because we already know. We already know. We've heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I should give you. I mean, also, thank you for sharing your opinion on that because as a not non-white, non female person, I find that, or non-binary person, I find that for me, I can kind of draw a similar parallel to like me being in like heavy music, right? You
Right.
would look at me and you'd be like, "Ah, that guy doesn't listen to heavy music. There's no way he does, right?" And I think I shock a lot of people when I look the way I do and like the music that I like. But I also think it's like for me, like I love Paramore. They're one of my favorite
Yeah.
bands of all time. I'm gonna die on that hill. Like Haley Williams is like she doesn't know yet, but she's my wife, you know, but it's okay. We're
Cool.
getting the legal papers working. But I feel like for me, it's like I love those albums, and I always find that it's a massive disservice to you, either if you're female fronted or non-binary fronted, to just
Yeah.
be relegated to, hey, you sound like Paramore. I feel like that is, you're not really intuitively listening, and I feel like that is not giving the credit to whoever is putting this music out, right? Like you can say that, like, and I'm sure Chaney is probably influenced by Haley, but she doesn't sound like Haley, right? And I think that's kind of the line, is that like she is so iconic in that way where people, especially that are not a part of the scene, don't, they just view it as like, oh,
Right.
this is the umbrella, this is the all-encompassing. Like I don't understand why they don't take offense to this. Haley Williams is like one of the best vocalists of all time. Like this should be like a massive compliment to them. And like I feel like for me, it's like I think you could, that moment when you're just standing in line getting ready to buy merch, or like you see their videos online, just pause for like 1 second and be like, how many times have they been said that they sound like Paramore? Just give it a
Right.
pause. Give it a pause for a hot
Right.
second. And I can be rest assured that somebody has already commented like 25 different times in 25 different ways on a video. And
Yeah.
that hurts. That hurts me. And I'm
Seriously.
not even a part of this group. So
Right. And like I'm pretty positive the person 3 people in front of you in line already said it.
sure, yeah. Or has been thinking about it for like the
Right.
entire,
And
yeah.
you know what? There is no, if you want to compliment them, you can literally just go up and be like, "You guys were
You
amazing.
guys
That song
rocked.
was great. You guys
Yeah.
rock." That all
Boom.
you need.
Did it.
All you need. That's
Crushed
all
it.
you need. And I will say, I will say, sometimes I do get it because like on this tour, we like for the past like year and a half, we would always perform Decode to the
Ah,
end. Only because like when you want to engage people in a set when you're a small band, you want to do a song. We thought, let's do a song that everyone knows that I can sing easily and like amaze people with.
sure.
And then but also like end the set with a cover. That way people are like, okay, this is good. And then you reel them back in with that cover, and they're like, then they're like, holy crap, that cover was so good. And they're like, oh my god, this whole set was so good,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
inclines them more to come, buy merch and just like your band.
Sure. Yeah.
But during this tour, we didn't end with a cover, but before our like last song, before we went into Midlife Crisis, we did "Given Up" by Linkin Park because
Ooh.
we did Paramore. It was done with. It's over with. Let's do something new.
Hmm.
But there were some days on this tour where my voice was like, I do hella rasp on "Given Up," and there are some days where I was just like,
Can't do
I
it.
can't do it today, which
Yeah.
was like maybe 3 times on this tour. And we did Decode as our backup. So some dates I wouldn't be as like, why are they saying this? I get it. I just played Decode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna excuse these dates. Like I get it. Like that's chill. And like that's me like putting like, okay, we just sang Paramore, so I expect it. Or like,
Yeah,
if
sure.
someone's I'm not like expect it, but if someone says it, I'm not gonna be like,
How dare you? Yeah.
really? Yeah.
I can't believe you. Yeah.
But like on the days, like which was most of it, that like we wouldn't even play Paramore, it's just like, and I would get it, and I was just like, okay, thank you. You gonna buy something though? Not
Yeah.
really, but like, she's like, okay, I really don't. I'm tired of this. So
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you giving your take on it, Cheney, because I know oftentimes it's a little bit of a sore spot for, I would imagine, for females and non-binary people that front
oh yeah,
bands that are in the space. But I think for me, it's like I knew the influence was there, but I'm not gonna outright say like, "Oh my God, you guys sound like Paramore." I just like know inherently like you're in the scene of music. This is the type of
yeah,
music that you like. Like it just seems like it's a given. I'm not going to say something
yeah.
that is already said thousands of times before I've said it, you know? And but I love the fact that you guys kind of pull from a bunch of different genres where I feel like there's some songs that are a little bit more pop rock, you know? You give me like We Are the In Crowd vibes, which is a band you mentioned earlier.
I
Um,
love it.
which is a band that I'm super stoked. I am going to When We Were Young Fest this year or next year in
Yeah.
2024, and they are doing an album front to back, which I'm
Oh
very
my
stoked about.
gosh. And Tonight Alive
And
and Hey
Tonight Alive,
Monday.
yeah,
Hey Monday was my
and Hey
first
Monday.
band shirt I've ever gotten from Hot Topic. And I still have it. I made like a giant like band quilt. Oh,
Oh, very cool.
you can probably see it. It's like that little blue shirt down there. It's
Oh,
a
very
little
cool.
blue
Yep, I
shirt
see
right
the
there.
day that says
Yeah,
day. Yeah, yep, I
yeah.
got you.
I
It's crazy.
if I am not on tour by that time, I'm going.
We'll if you're not on tour, please hit me up. We will say hello in real life.
Yeah. I just hit my hand on the wall.
But I feel like again, there's tons of bands. I also feel like you pull a lot from like Tonight Alive, which is one of my favorite like female fronted bands.
Love that band.
She shout outs. Jenna is one of my favorite female vocalists, along with
Mhm.
Haley. You know, so if like Haley's taken as an individual, like Jenna is also my wife. So like Jenna,
Yeah.
if you're not if you're not doing anything, I'm
And
just kidding.
also like if anyone else is listening, taking my opinion, here's another thing too. God, I just had it. It was on my what
It's
the
all
heck? You
right.
guys took me from my train of thought. Um, God,
Put you
okay.
on this. I put you on the spot though, so I feel.
Oh. If you've ever seen any band that's like non-binary or female fronted, assume that they were influenced by Paramore at some point. Just
Sure.
assume it because
Yeah.
it's usually true. Um, we've all listened to Paramore growing up. Everyone did.
Sure.
You know, saying how powerful Paramore is, when you're young, it just really like influences you. And so just kind of assume that we were all in some way influenced by Paramore. So you don't have to tell us that like, oh my God, you guys sound like Paramore. It's like, bestie, trust me.
We
This
get
has
it.
been going for a long time.
I feel that. Yeah. As someone who got to see Paramore, I got to see them do like a college show.
Oh,
And
see?
they also, so shout outs to my childhood best friend Jeff. I'll give this short, brief story about Paramore, and then we'll jump off from this because I feel like we've beaten the horse dead at this point. But I got to go to a show. It was at TCNJ, which is college in New Jersey, and he calls me and he said, "Hey, have you heard of this like new group? They're called Paramore." And I was like, "Bro, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've never." He's like, "I've never heard of them," but he's like, "They're playing at my college," and I said, "Get those tickets." I'm like, "You got to get them. Like, this is gonna be an insane show." And I was like, "Is there any opener for this?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "There's also this really interesting local band, the Wonder Years. Have you ever heard of those that band before?" And I was like, "What?"
Oh my God.
I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "They are Philadelphia's staple like pop punk band. What are you talking about?"
You're a local.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, and to be fair, this is not his scene of music, so I want
that's
to give I
fair
want to give
enough.
him credit. I want to give him credit.
That's
Like
insane to hear.
so I was like, yes, like I hope you bought tickets now, like already, like they're bought, And he was like, yeah, I bought the tickets. So I was like, let's go. So I got to see like the Wonder Years open up in like this like college auditorium, and then Paramore played. I think the year that they were out, they had Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath drumming for them. So I think it was
Oh
like
yeah.
the self-titled years. So like they played like Brand New Eyes, they played like Riot, they played
Oh
Decode, they
wow.
played like the classics, like so I feel accomplished, So that will be a day that will live in infamy for me. So
That's
I'll
insane.
would love
That's
to see them
crazy.
again. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. I just love his setup was like these small bands that you don't I just thought that was like the best part. So
That's so
I was
funny.
crying. It was great.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Jeff. But the next question I have for you, Chaney, is who are you listening to now? Who's on your Spotify? What have you been listening to lately?
I won't lie. Ever since I came off a tour with Can't Swim in Belmont, I forgot how much I loved those bands, so I've been on a kick of them recently.
Mm,
Um, Your Clothes by Can't Swim has just been on repeat in my head
yeah.
for like the past couple of days. I cannot get it out of my head. But Ashniko, listen to a
Ooh,
lot of
okay.
Ashniko.
Okay.
Who else? Third Eye Blind, obviously, and Slipknot.
Wow. Okay. What a combo.
Very wide variety of
Y-
artists.
Yeah. Uh,
But yeah, it's just those are like the same ones I've been listening to like the past like couple weeks. Yeah,
what Slipknot album is it, or has it just been on random?
random.
Okay, it's just any
Yeah,
Slipknot.
like I'll put on like a radio and like it just like
It
okay,
just spits it out. I
like
got you.
running up with me. It's so good.
There we go. I love it. The next question I have for you, Chaney, is I know you did mention that you guys have done 2 cover songs, but if there was another cover song you could throw into the mix that is new, what would you love to cover?
Heart Attack by Demi Lovato. Okay, I mean because
Please
like
don't.
I
I
mean
don't need you to put that out.
but like the song itself is really fun to sing. I love singing that song. It's so good.
Okay,
And
okay.
imagine
The
like a
double
like a
meaning.
I mean, like, I know Demi did like a heavier version, so like imagine doing like the heavier version. That'd be so fun. I do, yeah. I would love to sing. I actually mentioned that in the car during tour. I was like, hey guys, what if for like our next tour we did like Heart Attack by Demi Lovato? And they were like, that's a good idea, but we're also gonna be singing that ballad song, and that's a really high song for you to sing. And I was like,
I like
fair
a
enough.
challenge. You're like, I'm ready.
But like low key, I like a challenge, so maybe.
You had to flex on him. I got you. I respect it.
Mhm.
You know, I
And
if
maybe yeah, maybe we'll keep Lincoln Park for the next one. I don't know. I don't know. Could go anywhere.
I feel like you could crush. I feel like you crush Heart Attack by Demi Lovato.
Oh, I know
I
I would.
I feel like let me see. What song am I feeling for house parties to cover? Hmm. I don't know. That's kind of tough. I feel like maybe I know like 90s stuff is really popular right now. So I feel like you could do like I feel like it would be interesting to hear your take on like a 90s boy band song.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, that'd be
I,
cool.
I feel like you could do it. I think like maybe, I'm thinking like an In Sync, That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my, I want it that way.
Yeah, you
Right? That
could.
was yeah. Yeah.
No, that's Backstreet Boys.
Oh my god.
You're gonna
Look,
get
I was born.
flamed.
Hey, I was born in '98.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know
Fair
my
enough.
2000s
You
stuff.
got the 2000s. Yeah, okay.
So if y'all want to come for me out there for that, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I know a couple of bands from the '90s, and that's it.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah. To be fair,
Like, you know what? Maybe we'll do that one. How about that? We'll
that's
do that
better.
one.
I love
Yeah.
it. Do that. Do the Backstreet Boys. I'm about it. I'm about it. As someone who immediately felt old when you said like, "Oh yeah, I'm 98," and meanwhile I'm like, "Yeah, you know, 93, so it's fine." I'm
My
good.
favorite thing to tell people is like, yeah, I was born in the 1900s.
That's. I mean, technically, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. It's just very late 1900s, like 2 years prior to it being done.
I like that. That's kind of a flex, honestly. You're like, yeah, I'm born in the 1900s.
Or like anytime I hear someone's like, oh, like what year were you born? They're like 2000 and I'm like, and what the hell? I mean, not like there's anything wrong with that. It's just like I was like, damn, I was born in 1998.
Yeah.
Like the 2000 and it's just you got to get used to
I
it.
didn't even know that existed, so now I feel incredibly old now.
Right. And
And
2000 and
2000
like
and oh, oh.
crazy,
All right.
crazy.
Well, next episode, guys, you'll see me with gray hair and I'll have a walker. So, you know, I figured out there's a new tier. So we have elder emo and then there's ancient emo, which is like for you old fucks out there like me. So,
I feel like I'm an
excellent.
elder emo. I feel like I qualify.
I'm
I'm only
close to
20.
I'm
I'm only
close to
20
ancient emo. I feel like I'm getting edging closer to ancient emo every day.
yeah, right.
Every day I get closer to ancient emo. So I'm gonna be that meme where that like old lady and that like the chick is just like, I remember seeing Warp Tour, and
Right.
the kids grandkids like, it's okay, grandma, you know, we understand you went to Warp Tour, it's fine, you know, like
Okay, Grandma, let's get you back to
like,
bed.
yeah. That's gonna be me. Uh,
Oh my God. God.
they're gonna be like, man, your skinny jeans have been retired for 30 years.
You like your skinny jeans are retired when you have like rips in like places where it shouldn't have rips. I had this favorite pair of black skinny jeans that I usually would wear to my work, but like I like some skinny jeans still. Like I'll still wear some skinny jeans, but like there's like a rip near the crotch area, and I was like, damn, it's my only like pair of like black skinny jeans that I have.
Oh man, I
Either I
feel
get it
that.
fixed or get a new one. So
I think it might be time to retire
right, right.
the crotchless black jeans. I would argue. So anyway, if you guys have any good suggestions for house parties in regards to cover songs, you can let them know down in the comment section below. I can't guarantee they'll do it. Please, for just a PSA, do not put Paramore in the comments. If I see a Paramore comment, I am going to throw it the fuck out. So please do
Yeah,
not do
not
that.
doing it.
And I even as a
No,
joke. I
no
take this
more.
shit seriously, okay?
Yeah,
So don't do it.
yeah.
Don't do it. I'm trying to protect everyone's mental health here. So I'm the gatekeeper. And this is the only thing I will gatekeep. So I will gatekeep that. So don't do it. But anyway, the next question I have for you, Chaney, is what is your favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Oh God, I have snacks and then I have food.
Okay, give me your favorite
I
snack and favorite food. I feel like I got it. You know, you mentioned it, so I got to pull up.
I think pizza is like my favorite, but as of recently, I've been getting into a lot of like ramen and sushi. So I might say that.
Oh, okay.
If you ever like invite me to go eat like sushi or like ramen or go anywhere like that, I'm usually like, let's go.
Let's
Like,
do it up.
let's go. Like, aren't we there already? Like, I'm down always. Um, Snack wise, like, I like French fries a lot. I also like popcorn. I don't know. I just be snacking a lot. And also like I'm very impulsive when it comes to food.
Fair
So
enough.
like it depends on like what I'm craving in that moment. But God, yeah. I would say no, I love popcorn and French fries. Like anytime, like especially on this tour, we had to stop at McDonald's, like not too often, but when we did, or like anywhere that had fries. And this is like anytime, honestly. I'm with someone or like my band. It doesn't matter when. If they get them with fries, I have this thing called a fry tax. I'm always gonna ask you for one or two fries, especially if I don't order any. And they get annoyed. And I get it. They're like, really? And I'm like, either you don't finish them and you give me the rest, or you give me two fries now. How about that? And they usually end up giving them to me. I just like it's not like aggressive. It's just like,
Can I
can I have
please?
like a
Yeah, can
fry?
I please have
Can I have
it?
a fry?
Yes.
And they're always just like they're rolling their eyes and they're like,
All right,
here,
fine. Here you go. Yeah.
feed the beast and be done.
Feed the beast. I love
But
that.
yeah,
Well, hopefully everybody will now bring Chaney some popcorn at shows. That would be sick. You know, I'm just
thank
saying, tour snacks are ridiculous. So go do it up if you can do it. Go do it.
mm-hmm.
I used to have bands stay over my house and feed them. So I feel like I still got to continue on with that tradition. So bands hit
Oh,
me up.
also on this tour, because on their riders, I think it was Belmont's rider. They would let us eat their food all the time because we didn't really have anything on our rider. Oh my God, both of these bands and their
Sweethearts.
entire crew were so sweet. They're like the best people I've met in a minute. Like seriously, no bad vibes. Everyone was just so supportive of each other and it was awesome. But they would have Uncrustables on their rider, and my blood sugar drops a lot. So like that's like the perfect thing to eat whenever like I need something
Yeah.
quick. But like sometimes the venues would give them like the strawberry ones or like, the regular grape jelly ones. Or like if it was like really rare, the new like the chocolate
Ooh.
ones. and they would let me raid that, and I would just
Go ham.
so I like Uncrustables right now are one of my favorites now too.
Listen, Uncrustables, if you're watching this, I'm just saying, House Party would love a sponsorship. I'm just, putting it out there.
I'm not joking, I would.
I'm also not joking. I feel like they would want it. So, listen, I'm a man of the people here. So make it happen.
Make
We
it
can make it
happen.
happen. That'd be sick. But love those answers. I feel like, you did mention pizza, so I feel like that is well in your right to mention that. I feel like it's a rite of passage if you play in the pop punk genre and you do not mention pizza at least once.
I
Kind of mid.
I just genuinely love it. Like, I guess I don't know if it's like my Italian roots, but like I just genuinely just love pizza. I love Italian food because I grew up on it, but
Fair.
like pizza's just so good.
It is good.
God, there's this place near my house. I don't know if they still do it. There's this place that would make this like lasagna pizza. And it
Oh,
sounds really like crazy. It wasn't like crazy when you ate it, but it was delicious because you got like ricotta cheese in there and it's just like it oh my God. It's my favorite ever. And I just love it, you know? Can't ever go wrong with pizza. Ever,
as
ever.
as someone who lives on the Northeast, listen, I get that. That is a staple food here. So
Yeah.
love it. Next question I have for you, Chaney, is if you guys could have a dream collaboration on an up and coming House Parties track, who would you love to work with? The first part of this question is one that's more feasible. If you like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you wanted someone and you haven't asked them, now's the time to ask. And then the second choice, to part two, is the dream collab, the one that we're putting out in the universe that we would love to make happen.
Oh God, both of these answers would be the same person.
Oh, okay.
I have been wanting to work with Vic from Pierce the Veil for a long, long time.
Please, please, yes.
Because eventually I want to make a heavier album for house parties. Like, I love when bands travel, like explore different sounds.
Sure.
Even if it's
Agreed.
something I'm not like, oh, I didn't really like that era, but at least they did it. Because I'm not a fan of when people stay the same. I guess if you want to call it that.
Sure, agreed.
But I really want to make like a heavier album or like at least an EP. And I think Vic would be like, Pierce the Veil has been such an influence band for me personally. I've always been a fan of like how he writes his lyrics.
Agreed.
I've loved that. And just the sound, it's just so like if you take Selfish Machines, how like unique the structures are for those songs and everything. It's
favorite
just
album.
a masterpiece. And then even like their recent album was really good too. And I just really want to work with Vic from Pierce the Veil. I do. And that's gonna be my answer for both.
I love it. I'm fully on board with this. Also an Equal Vision alumni, so I
Right,
feel like
exactly that too. Yes. Yeah.
I know my research. I know Pierce the Veil. They were like one of the first bands that I think other than like maybe like Under Oath that I think I saw live. They're amongst the, I would say, first year Brandon like stepping
Oh,
out
yeah.
into emo territory.
One of my second concerts I've ever went to. My first concert I ever went to, because I got into this stuff super late, was Paramore during their self-titled era.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom to get there. Worth it. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
My second show I ever went to was Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens on their the world tour.
Oh,
It was nuts. Nuts. I was like, both of these bands that I love a lot, I'm like, oh my God, there's Sleeping with Sirens. There's Pierce the Veil. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh. Like crazy.
they're
Insane.
doing part two with When We Were Young. They're doing Let's Cheers to This and Collide with the Sky, and I'm like, oh, I'm in heaven right now. I'm feeling.
I really want to go to When We Were Young. I want there to be a tour around that time, but if the tour starts like maybe after the 24th, so it gives me time to go to Vegas and come back and be like, yeah, I'm tour ready. I'm down. I'm good.
Let's
manifesting
go.
it.
I'm manifesting that for you as well.
Thank you.
As someone who is also a huge Pierce the Veil fan, um, I I'm gonna leave it at this. There are videos of me playing guitar to some Pierce the Veil songs that are online that I'm totally
Yeah,
not gonna tell you where to find because I don't want people to find it. But if you find it, you find it. So
right.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at
I might
that.
go watch those. I might go watch those.
I'm gonna leave it anonymous. So if you go look for it, great. You find it. You found the secret. If not, then it is what it is. But
I'm
uh,
also like, I also like when I was like practicing like singing, like in my early years of this, I would listen to a lot of Pierce the Veil because his range is also super high,
oh yeah,
and it was good. It was good to like practice too, and I loved it. Yeah,
he also
so
has like great
I don't
rasp
understand.
too. Like
Yeah,
he's got like a great raspy tone sometimes
yeah,
as well.
definitely one of the bands that helped me with my rasp for sure.
I would agree.
Shout out Vic and shout out Pierce the Veil. Love you guys.
Well,
Forever.
listen, we're gonna give him another shout out, guys. Listen, first part of this is you need to go follow House Parties on Instagram. If you haven't done that, then you can't skip to skip step two, So first, go follow House Parties. I'll leave a link in the description. Go follow them. Then second, I need you to tag them in your story along with Pierce the Veil, and then type the word collab question mark, and also tag Equal Vision because obviously you got to. And then I've been on the internet for almost 8 years, so I feel like I have a rite of passage to say that if it's on the internet, it's probably real, right? I'm just saying,
Probably
it's probably real.
maybe,
So like,
maybe.
if you want to put that out there, I'm just saying, if you want to give it that like extra energy, the extra love, the extra good juju, then do it up.
Yeah.
I feel like Chaney would be proud of that. I would be stoked as an emo boy and also as a, Pierce the Veil stan. I'd be about it. So
Mhm.
let's make it happen. Next question I have for you, Chaney, is if you were to compile a dream tour lineup, including House Parties, who would be on this tour?
This one always gets me because like I don't know. Well, Pierce the Veil, obviously, that would be a one.
That's fair.
This is gonna sound crazy, and these are heavy bands, but like
I'm about
I
it.
really want to tour with Bring Me the Horizon.
Ooh, okay,
Like
girl. Let's go.
I feel like that could work. I feel like that could work.
I'm
I
about it.
also want to tour with Belmont again.
Ooh,
I just
okay.
their energy is just so good.
Oh yeah,
That'd be an insane lineup. You imagine? I don't know. I feel like Bring Me the Horizon would be like the headliner, right?
for sure.
Or it could be a
Go
co-headline
headline, yeah.
with Pierce the Veil.
Ooh,
Okay, and then like Belmont before us, and then we're like the opener. Or if we're big enough around that time, maybe we're headline. I'm just kidding. That'd be insane. Oh, that'd be such a cool tour
I would be
or
about
just
it.
show to be
When can I
on.
buy tickets for this?
I don't. Let me talk to some people and get this together. That'd be
I would be
insane.
about that. 100%. That is like a tried and true like emo throwback. I feel like they
I
gotta
think
do it.
I think after that tour's done, I could die.
don't I don't need you to manifest that
I
especially
mean,
since
I'm
you
not
told
gonna
me about
die.
Demi Lovato and heart
I'm not
attack
gonna die. I don't want to die. But like, if that heart attack situation were gonna happen
at that moment.
right after that tour, I'm good.
You would take it
I'm
as a
good.
sign. You would take it as a sign. You're like it's
Yeah, yeah.
completed.
Life fulfilled. I'm ready to go. Bye.
Mission complete. And then
Yeah.
no. Well, I would
Sick.
simultaneously like for this to happen, but I would also not like to lose Chaney. So I feel like, put it, to tomato tomato.
Right.
But if you'd like to make this happen, you already know what you got to do. So go do it up. But the next question I have for you, Chaney, is for people who aren't familiar with House Parties, and this may be the first interview they watch, and are like, wow, I like this band. Now I got to go check them out. What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out first to give them an idea of your sound?
Cautious. I feel like that would be the one. That's what usually is. Whenever we put this out, it was doing good, and then like it started doing really well on TikTok, in like June, and it's just been going uphill. Like it's our most popular one. I feel like that's a good one to be like, okay, okay, like yeah, this is a good band to get into. And then if not that one, Midlife Crisis.
I would agree. I think
Yeah.
those two are very solid picks. I think if you are more in the like, if you like the Pierce the Veil, like Selfish Machines Collide with the Sky era stuff, I think you're probably like Midlife Crisis a ton.
Oh
If
yeah.
you are in the like more Tonight Alive, We Are in the In Crowd, pop punk goodness, then I think Cautious is probably going to be a better
Yeah.
choice for you. So,
Yeah.
giving
I,
you
I
both.
I definitely want as a band to get like a little heavier. So like probably in the midlife, like kind of because like performing these songs live on this tour, my favorite part of our set was performing Given Up and then going right into Midlife
Midlife
Crisis right
Crisis.
afterwards because the energy was just insane. Like in some cities, like during Given Up, like I mean, there was good like energy throughout the whole thing, but like especially when Given Up would
Come up.
play, we were like moshing the whole time, like circle pits, and like they were just like jumping on each other, and like and going right the midlife crisis, you know, it just the energy does not stop, and it's just like I love doing like the rasp and like getting down with it. So I think that's kind of where I want us to head into.
I hope so
So,
too.
oh yeah, 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 we'll get there eventually.
Do you find that you are the type of vocalist that is like the crowd energy, like you feed off that crowd energy
I do.
where you're like, listen, if you guys are hype, I'm gonna be like
Yeah,
spin kicking my way up on the stage, you know?
yeah. If yeah, that's literally how I am, and it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. Not a blessing. It's like a good and bad thing because like sometimes like there will be crowds where like they don't seem like they're into it, but they still are. So like they'll just be like nodding their heads the whole time, but
Just
it's just
yeah.
like I feed off of like people's energy, like the crowd. So when the crowd is like all rowdy and like getting into it, I just perform so much better. I just have such a better set. I don't know why that is. It's just like because like if people aren't moving around, sometimes my brain will be like, "Oh, they hate this. They're not
They don't
into it.
enjoy it.
They're not doing
Fair.
their job." But like that's not always true. Cause like I know sometimes if like no one if you want to jump around you, no one else is jumping around you. Sometimes you won't jump even though you're like really into it. So
Subconsciously, yeah, it's a
yes,
subconscious, yeah.
yeah.
I feel that.
So it's just like I definitely feed off of like a rowdy crowd's energy for sure. For
I f
sure.
I feel like I'm the type of person where originally I was like I would go into the pit, really just like go nuts, and now that I'm like getting older and oftentimes I shoot a lot of shows, so I'm like in the back because I don't want to like impede someone's like
Yeah.
ability to watch the show. So I'm like the dude that's either like this that has like his arms crossed and is like listening intently, and I'm like right next to the sound guy, and I'm like, if you fuck up, like no, I'm kidding. Actually, I don't care
Right.
if this
Right.
I'll no, no. I love standing by the sound guy because I feel like again that's where you get like the best version of seeing everybody like going off and like as well as that you get to see people on obviously the band performing on stage, which is really fun. But uh, I think sometimes I feel a little guilty because I'm like I feel like for people that are like on the stage that are performing and like want to have that like fan crowd interaction, like it could seem really rough if they look out into the crowd and they see me like standing in the back with my arms crossed. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's not a vibe, and they're like, this guy must hate our band and came for like another band on the lineup. When in reality,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, this band fucking is sick. I'm just standing here with my arms crossed, looking like an asshole, being like, this band probably thinks we hate. This band probably thinks I
Right.
hate them, which is not the case.
Right. And like two, because we had a different set, then we changed it like halfway through because we just weren't vibing with it.
Sure, sure.
So the second half we started with Collateral, which has a breakdown in it. And some like shows, it was really hard to get them to like open up a pit at first, like for the first you're watching a band that you've never heard of before and they're
Sure, sure,
asking you
sure.
to start a pit. And like That's hard. That's
Sure.
really hard. And like no one ever talks about like if you're watching a band for the first time that you've never heard of, it is so hard, like, or a whole crowd that has never heard of you before. And you're a small band, it is really, really hard to get them to move and like
Sure.
do what you want them to do. It is super, super, super hard. So there's sometimes I have to remind myself, like, girl, these people have never heard of you before. This is basically you just showing them like what you're made of.
Sure.
So I have to
I agree.
keep in that mindset. But then there are certain like shows that like they'll open up the pit, even if you just say open the pit and they're opening that fucking pit up. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. So it's just like each city's so different from each other. So it's just like as long as you put on a good show and like, you know, make people remember, there you go.
Yeah. Who had the best pit from the tour, if you don't mind me asking, for
Oh
like
my
for you guys?
best pit. Oh my god, I don't know. I think where were we? Denver. Denver was pretty rowdy. I liked Denver a lot.
Okay.
That crowd didn't disappoint. Yeah, they were all over it. They were all over it. It was I think Denver, pretty sure. Dallas for us had the biggest pit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that makes
Um,
sense.
but Denver was more rowdy. So I would say
Ah.
Denver 100%. Like you tell them to open that shit up and they were there. They were like, we're just gonna keep going until you tell us
They're
to
like,
stop.
let's
I said,
go.
okay.
Let's go. Spin
Yeah.
the room. Spin the room. I got you.
Denver was really fun. Like from like the first point of the set, they were pretty much into it, and so is Atlanta. Atlanta was like already getting
Poppin'.
into it. Like, the
Yeah.
first song, usually it's like really hard, and it's just like, all right, perfect.
I find
Let's go.
that I find that Northeast is really tough for bands sometimes because I think
Yeah,
we're just like hardened people where we're like you got to prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I think
fair.
we're like tough on the outside, but inside we're just like, oh, I really liked your band. You were sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like I've told so many like touring artist friends, they're like, oh my god, like Philly is really fun, but like we kind of felt like a little cold, and I was like, bro, like you got to come back and they'll be set.
yeah,
Like I feel like you gotta like initiate the crowd in some way, and then they're like, okay, we like you.
yeah.
We'll bring you in, So for any touring bands coming through like Northeast, don't get too beat up about it. I'm sure you'll be fine the next time you guys come around. But hoping House Parties comes around next year in 2024. Fingers
Oh yeah.
crossed. Fingers crossed. Equal Vision.
Well,
I know you watch my stuff, so I'm listen. I'm hearing it out. I'm hearing you know what I mean? I'm hearing Philly, from you guys. That's what I'm hoping for. So, just saying. Please. Thank you. That's all I asked for. The next question I have for you, Chaney, is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Okay, everyone,
Let's buckle
let's
in.
calm down to the favorite TV show. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear any like crap. My favorite TV show, favorite show ever, and I don't care how cringe it is Supernatural. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I thought you were gonna
love
say something else, so I'm good. I'm good.
what show?
I thought you were gonna say like a reality TV show.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. But I did used to watch Dance Moms and that was entertaining because it was like this woman's crazy.
She is crazy. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
I do.
But Supernatural is my favorite show. I love Trailer Park Boys too.
Oh,
Oh my god.
yes.
And Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Those shows are. When I went to Philly for the first time on my Snapchat. I was like, "I'm in Philly. If you know, you know." It's so good. I love those shows. I love those shows so much.
And everybody in
Favorite.
Philadelphia was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, we're not like the TV show.
I love that show. So
I
much.
love it too, to be fair. But
I love like unhinged things. It's just like my humor. It's so funny. My favorite movie is Hot Rod. I love that movie.
How have we not been friends before this, Chaney? That is my favorite movie of all time. What the fuck? I have to go get the
love that
DVD
movie
now.
so much. It's so good. I love it.
I'm not joking, guys. I love this movie.
Oh,
Holy
God.
fuck! Oh my god!
I could watch that all day, every day. It does
Oh
not
my
get
god!
boring. It does not get old.
That is my favorite movie. Oh my god. I didn't think anybody knew about this movie, so now I know.
Oh, same.
Now I
Like,
know,
and I'm
Cheney.
shocked that whenever I bring it up, people are either like, "Oh, I love that movie," or like, "I've never heard of that." It's
Oh,
like, well, you're
this is the fucking
sleeping on it. Yeah,
this movie is iconic, people. You need to go check
yeah.
this out. I'm not
Love
trying to
that
pitch
movie.
for this movie, but I'm just saying I'm gonna pitch for this movie.
Definitely should. That movie is iconic. It's amazing.
Uh,
And I usually watch horror movies. I'm a horror movie girly, like all the way
I'm
through.
not.
That's fair. It's fair.
I'm a
And it's
big
valid.
baby.
And I just don't get scared. I don't know what it is. I just don't get scared. Maybe because
Well,
I've experienced life.
you did almost have a heart attack, and you were just like even keel about it. So I feel
Well,
like
it's
that's
even on my TV. Oh, scary. Yeah. I almost had a heart attack. All right. Real life. I'll tell you what's
real life
scary.
shit.
Real life is scary. I would much rather watch a scary movie than have someone point a gun in my face. That's terrifying. That's honestly terrifying.
Yes, it
And
is.
like real life is scary. So I guess horror movies don't scare me. I
Both are
do get
scary.
grossed out though. I do get really grossed out by like some horror movies, and I'm just like, okay, that was
Too
too
much.
much. Like Human Centipede, like what are we doing? That's disgusting.
I don't even.
Like
I've
nothing.
heard of it. I've seen images of it. That's all I
I've
need to know.
I've never seen the movies. I've seen the trailers, and that was my thoughts of the trailers. I was like, this is making me nauseated. No thanks.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't want it. Don't want it. But I could chill about this movie all day, every day. So I'm glad that Cheney brought it up.
Rah.
My fa- my favorite scene is the one where he literally rolls down the hill for fucking like 5
Yeah.
minutes straight. That shit makes me crack up every single time. Or the part where he slams into the RV and the guy comes out and Danny beats him up with the fucking cone and he's like, "You're gonna beat the demons out of me."
Yeah.
I've been drinking green tea all
That's
goddamn
a good
day.
one. Oh my god, that movie's so fucking funny.
Uh,
And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that show with him with
oh,
Andy, is so funny.
I'm a big Andy Samberg simp, I
Mm,
feel, so
Me, that's me. That's
uh,
me.
where have we been? Where have we been, Cheney?
I
We
don't
should have been
know.
friends much longer ago now at this point. This is great. Um, Next question I have for you is if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
Danger Days by MCR.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty
My
contested pick, I would argue.
That's my favorite album of all time. Yeah.
I think I should
I
go
don't know.
back and listen to that one. I think I should.
I Something about that album just does it for me. I don't know. I love it. It brings out my inner like child.
Yeah,
I
I
love
got you.
I
It's the
just love that
nostalgia.
album. Yes. I
I
love that
feel.
album.
I'm more of a Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge type
That's
guy,
also a good album too.
but
Oh yeah.
I feel like if you pick Three Cheers, Black Parade, I feel like you're good on. And
Yeah.
even I'll have to go back and listen to Danger Days. I feel like I gave that one a bad rap, and now that
Well,
I'm older,
one of the first MCR songs at the time they had just put out Na 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 Na.
yeah. That's what. Yeah,
That's right when I got into that kind of music. And so that was like the first like MCR song I ever heard. And so, and then I got into the Black Parade. I love that album.
sure.
I know it. And that was the first song I heard and I loved it. And that whole album, I fell in love with the storyline. I fell in love with like the art style of it and just the colors and just the sound. I love that album.
It's a good record. I'm gonna have to
It
give
is.
it a listen again. I feel like
Yeah.
I have fresh ears now, so I feel like I gotta give it some love. Be a little bit maybe little less critical about that record. But
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the last question I have for you, Cheney, if you guys like house parties, check the links in the description. Cheney will tell you all about it in just a moment. But I wanted to know, Cheney, why you're so passionate about making music. I think oftentimes you think about it from the perspective of like, oh my God, when's the next song coming out or all this sort of stuff. I'm really invested in why people love to do it because I am really passionate about finding out about the best underground, underrated alternative bands out there. And I feel like my passion arguably shows in these types of videos. So I want to know why you do it and why you're passionate about making music.
I am passionate about making music for a bunch of different reasons. I I've always loved the idea of like bands being like the voice for people who can't necessarily use their voice or
Sure.
like, like so like I get to be a voice for people because I am also very an opinionated person, but I've always, if you know me like in person and like in real life, I'm always been someone who just stands up for what one I believe in and stand up for other people.
Mhm.
Like, not a big fan of bullying. Um,
Same.
like, I mean, who would? That's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to be a fan of
Weird
it.
weird
Um,
stance. Weird stance. Yeah.
um, um, I hate when people like get to taken advantage of or like
Mhm.
I've always been someone that's just like I like to stand up for what is right and for other people. It's very close to my heart. I've always been like that, so I feel like this gives me like a platform to do that. Um, and then I'm also just doing music helps me get all of my like emotions out. It's like free therapy. I'm sure you've heard people say that. It just like whenever I get like angry or upset about something right before we're about to play a set, I channel all of that into the set, and we usually have really good sets. Like for me, because I just get so into it, and like it's just a good place to like get angry, get sad, be
Mhm.
happy. It's just a good place to get out all of your crap, and it's very like therapeutic. Writing something that's exactly how you feel and like getting to sing it all the time. I mean, midlife crisis was, I mean, I'm still going through that, but like 2022 was a big year for that song. Um, it's all about having like feel like your life is falling apart in your 20s, and that's how it was. I would have breakdowns in my car. I would cry in my car. I would either not have enough money to eat, or I would just be so like depressed that I just didn't eat a lot. And like, God, it was just nuts. And getting to like angrily sing that every night, it's just been such a therapeutic thing. Just get all that anger out. But I I I guess that's why I like it. I also like writing about things. So like if I'm going through something and I write about it, there could be like so many people going through the same thing that are like,
Mhm.
thank God I have this song.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. Because whenever I discover a song that's like exactly how I feel in a certain specific situation, I'm like, damn, thank God I discovered this. And it's just the best thing ever. I love it. I That's why I'm passionate about music.
I love that, you know? I feel like very similarly, I love to give bands that are equally as passionate about what they do a platform, you know? I love doing this. This is something that has been a part of my life for almost 8 years, which is something I've can't really wrap my head around, honestly. But I love the fact that bands in this genre can write so like cathartically, right? Like I think there's something really special about that. There's something that really kind of connects you to the artist, that I have on week in and week out. You know, I think it's so important to have that sort of representation, and that like, you know, I'm a huge mental health advocate, so like
Yeah.
for me it's like I want people that are going to be able to like highlight that in the best way possible. So I love the fact that you're writing from the heart. Not that I feel like it was going to be anything less, but it's nice to know that you're writing from stuff that is true to you and that you would love to, you know, not only get out in terms of like your emotiveness, but as well as that having that opportunity to be able to share with someone else, and maybe that might help them connect to your band
Yeah.
that much more. So love it. I have one final question for you, Chaney, and I'll let you give us the spiel. I wanted to know where you came up with the name House Parties. I hate asking that type of cheesy question, but I always save it for the end if I feel like the name of the band is interesting to me. So, House Parties, how did you guys come up with this band name?
Oh my gosh. I came up with it, and I was sitting somewhere and I came across like I don't even know. It just something with the word house parties in it. And I was like, oh, that'd be a sick band name. Cause like when you go to like a party, like so many people are going through so many different things there. Like at a party, I guess, like there's, people obviously having fun, but like there are people who are dealing with a lot of different things outside of that. But they go, at first, the band name didn't really have a lot of meaning, but we've kind of given it a meaning over these past couple like years.
Hmm.
And I like I fell in love with the idea of just like I said, you go to like a party or like you go to a place where like everyone just is going through different shit in their lives. But for that collective amount of time, they're like in a place where they can just let loose and be themselves and not have to worry about like being judged about like what they're going through or like anything in their life. Like they
Hmm.
can be who they are. And that's something that I've kind of just attached with the band name. It's just in a place where you can be yourself, not be judged for anything. If you're going through something, you have people that you can lean your head on or, stuff like that. And that's just kind of what I've fallen in love with for the meaning of it.
I love that. I didn't know there was a larger meaning behind it, so that's always good to know. So
Mm.
very, very cool. The last thing, Chaney, tell the people where they can find house parties at, what you have coming up in the next couple months, and anything else you'd like to spill the beans on.
Of course. But you can find us on anything. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, or everything. Just, everything.
All of
Everything.
it. All of it.
All,
Yeah.
but we're releasing our next EP called Side Effects in
Oh,
January 19th.
let's go.
There are 2 songs that are already out, Brain Dead and Midlife Crisis. You can pre-order some stuff from our merch store on our Instagram.
Let's go.
Also pre-save the EP as well. So please do that because we're a small band, and if you like supporting small bands,
I do.
we would be a good one because I think our music's good and we could use any help that we could get. Tell your friends about us, tell your enemies, your partners, your exes, your neighbors, strangers, anybody. Word of mouth. So
Anybody who's down to listen.
share it, just share it.
Just
Yeah.
share it. Buy a billboard, put their name on it, you know,
Hmm.
do that shit.
Basically.
I got you. Or, go to the Jersey Shore, you get the plane with the flag at the end. Do one of
Oh yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Pull up.
And
Yeah.
and if you discover us from here and you love our band, follow us on social media so you can see when we're coming to your city next. Okay? That's just my
PSA.
yeah. Yeah.
I got you. Equal vision. I'm just saying, Philadelphia again. You think I forgot, but I'm gonna keep saying it again. House parties needs to come back to Philadelphia, so I don't miss out on them this time. So, I can support those like insanely sick like local small bands that are doing the shit. So, please do a tour in Philly. Anyway, the next thing, go check out House Parties. I want to give a shout outs to Erica at Big Picture again.
Shout out.
Much love to her.
Mhm.
If you'd like to listen to their new album, Side Effects, is coming out on January 19th. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Very, very excited to give that a listen live. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to come hang out live or give me a follow on social media so you know when I go live because I go live a lot because this is my life. This is what I do. So please come hang out. Would love to listen to the EP with all of the house party homies. So come through. Would love to see you. Definitely gonna go pre-order the album. Fingers crossed that they have vinyl. If they don't, then that's just another thing I'm gonna add to the list.
Not
Equal
yet,
Vision,
but
Equal Vision. Come on, listen. I don't ask for a lot, even though I just asked for something. But I'm gonna ask again. If you can make vinyl, your boy will pull up and buy a vinyl. I'm just saying.
there
I'm
you
a
go.
vinyl fiend. So please give me that. As well as that, if you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. It does go a long way. And huge thanks to Chaney for spending Saturday with me. Woo!
Of course. I don't have a job right now, so I'm free.